Alright guys, here is another Patreon request, and this one comes from my good friend Jason Voorhees 2011, who asked me to do a pretty interesting take. Now, if you guys probably are aware, if you've been on this channel long enough, that you guys know that one of my favorite bands is Ice Nine Kills, best known for doing their horror movie themed metal songs. But the thing is that before they did that theme, they did another one that kind of was like they're like testing the waters, and like you knew when you heard this album, it's like, oh yeah, this band is going to be something big. And then right after that, it was Silver Scream and Welcome to Horrorwood, and that album was Every Trick in the Book. Every Trick in the Book was basically not so much based on horror movies, although they do kind of work around with that. It's more based off of books, such as Dracula, Animal Farm, Go Ask Alice. It was a lot of those. And like I said, that album was basically like, the moment you heard this album, you're like, band is on the verge of a major breakthrough, and it's gonna be awesome. So, Jason basically asked me, what if they did Every Trick in the Book Chapter 2? Like, what if they did a follow-up album to Every Trick in the Book? Which could be possible. And I do enjoy a good book that isn't a comic every now and again, but it also really helps when your girlfriend is a big bibliophile. She likes books. Get your head out of the gutter, people. Anyway, so we have 13 tracks, and my girlfriend and I actually spent like a good hour on this. When I told her like this idea for the Patreon request, she was like, "Oh, that's awesome!" So we spent like a good hour just laying in bed, just kind of like talking about like what books would make good songs, and yeah. What was I gonna say? So yeah, I'd like to thank Jason for this, and as always, if you'd like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, where you guys can start sending me requests for videos to do here on YouTube. But other than that, let's get started with this video. So let's start with the first track. Now this first track, I think should be like a good sequel to Bloodbath and Beyond, which was the song about Dracula. And that is about Frankenstein. Obviously, it falls into the horror category, and it falls into the book category, and like I said, I think Frankenstein, if they were to do a sequel to Every Trick in the Book, I really do think Spencer and the guys would really do like a Frankenstein novel, first and foremost. I really do think that would be like the most logical sense. When you think of these, this was actually the first one even I thought of. Like, yeah, if Ink does another Every Trick in the Book, Chapter 2, it would make sense to do what's the next big horror book after Dracula. It's Frankenstein. It was also the first science fiction story, and yeah. Now, yes, they did do Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but yeah, you've done Dr. Jekyll, you did Dracula. I think Frankenstein would make the most sense. Also, it'd be really fun to have, like, and I feel so bad, too, like, the music video, the lyric video, rather, has some great, like, during the breakdown, it has Bela Lugosi's line of, "You are too late. My blood now flows through her veins. She will live through the ages, as I have lived." So I think that'd be really cool. Obviously, it's a lot, like, could you just imagine Spencer just screaming, "It's alive!" So that would be so cool. And also have like a great reference, like an audio track from like maybe Dr. Frankenstein or the monster itself from the classic Universal movie. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So Frankenstein first and foremost. Now we move on to the next one, and that is Lord of the Flies. Lord of the Flies would be so much fun, and it's very much like I know what a lot of people say, like, oh, it's an action story. No, it's a horror story. That book, I don't know where you people think it's an action story or like a coming-of-age story. It's a fucking horror story, really. And it fits right into what it does, what Ice Nine Kills does of all these great dark themes, and I really do think that would be really cool. I really do think Lord of the Flies would be an excellent take on it. And again, they've done like deep books before, like I said, with Animal Farm and Test de Uberwilfs, which, yeah, that's a heavy book too. So Lord of the Flies, I think, would be perfect. Next up, we have 1984 from George Orwell. Orson Welles, excuse me, yeah. So they've done an Orwellian book with Animal Farm, so 1984 would make the best choice. I was thinking like the other one that would be Fahrenheit 451, which is, I know, like that's a totally like they're both very similar. But 1984 I think would be kind of interesting. I think it would get like I'd really like to hear an industrial, like I feel like how Ice Nine Kills would do this song, excuse me, is kind of like something industrial, like Worst Vacation, like just something this heavy industrial theme. It'd be kind of cool if you got Till Lindemann to do to co-op on this song. I feel like he would, like I feel Till would really like play with that, with how Rammstein does some of their songs. So also would make up for the fact that we didn't get Till in Worst Vacation. I feel like that was a missed opportunity, so maybe this would make up for it. I don't know. So next up we have Moby Dick. Like I said, Ice Nine Kills was not above doing classic books, and Moby Dick I think would be a great sequel to that. And not only that, it would be another great aquatic metal song like Rocking the Boat, the song about Jaws. So I think that this would be a lot of fun. I think this would be a very fast-paced song, and Spencer probably would add To Hell's Heart I Stab at Thee in some case, but I think the song would be more about like taking revenge on something or someone, and it correlates to Moby Dick. So there you go. So we got some big ones so far. So we're gonna go a little different, and this is another one. My girlfriend, she had a lot of great picks for these, and this was one of the first ones. She did say Lord of the Flies in 1984, but this is one I was like, there's no way I would have thought of this without her. So. The Awakening. Now, if you don't know what The Awakening is, The Awakening is by... it's a novel by Kate... I had to look up the name real quick. Kate Chopin? Or Chopin. It's a very dark novel about this woman called Edna, who struggles between her increasing unorthodox views on femininity and motherhood, and it kind of ends really depressingly, too. I think this would be a great ballad song, like just like Testimony was. I think this would be like a great ballady, kind of dark, very somber song. I feel like this, if you're going to do a ballad song in this, like you did with Testimony, The Awakening is a perfect pick for it. So, there you go. So next up, we have Sound of Thunder from Ray Bradbury. I think, dude, this would be, like, I'm shocked they haven't done a song about a Ray Bradbury song. I would have, I was thinking The Foghorn, which was the inspiration for The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, fun fact. But I kind of thought, I was like, no, Sound of Thunder, it's a more popular story by Ray Bradbury, and it involves dinosaurs. And I would like to say some dino metal from Ice Nine Kills. If anyone's going to do a metal song about dinosaurs, like a metalcore song about dinosaurs, it's Ice Nine Kills. For those who are unaware what Sound of Thunder is, really simple. It's time travel and dinosaurs. There's more to it. That's kind of the gist. It really does take the butterfly effect of things. So there you go. So next up we have another pick from my girlfriend, and that is Heart-Shaped Box. Now I know what you're thinking. Heart-Shaped Box? That sounds kind of lame. Is this another ballady song? Nope. This is Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill. Now, Joe Hill obviously is the son of Stephen King, and there will be, and I'm just going to tell you guys right now, there aren't any Stephen King songs on here. I was thinking of putting Cujo on here because obviously they are big Stephen King fans, and they did do Enjoy Your Sleigh for like the bridging song between Silver Scream and Every Trick in the Book. That was like the bridge between the two. But, you know, it wouldn't hurt to give his son a little help too. Like it wouldn't hurt to look at his work on his from his son. And I initially was thinking Nosferatu for the song they could do. But then my girlfriend explained, no, Heart-Shaped Box makes a lot more sense, and it's way darker. Like, okay, so if you haven't read Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill, it's basically about this rock star who collects all these, like, dark objects, and he finds a box that is haunted. There's a little more to it, and I've read a little bit of Heart-Shaped Box after my girlfriend explained it to me, and it's fucked up. it's thoroughly fucked up. So this song, it's a song about a rock star already, and it's dealing with dark themes about haunted objects and whatnot. Yeah, and we already know Spencer and the crew is big on horror. So, yeah. So Heart-Shaped Box would be my next pick. Moving on to the 8th track, we have the book called The Lost City of the Monkey God. Now, this one's interesting because this is actually a true-to-life thing. This was actually another thing my girlfriend suggested, because now Ice Nine Kills has done the song about the group who were trapped in the soccer group that was forced to eat each other after their plane crash landed into the Andes Mountains. So that was a real thing. It was a nonfiction book, and this is another nonfiction book. Basically, what it is that somewhere in Asia, or I can't remember if it was Asia or Africa, but basically these group of this has happened. Let me tell you, this happened for real, where these group of scientists found a temple, and they went inside and found all these apes, and discovered in one room like all these diseases and infections that they unleashed and infected themselves. And it was horrible because when they got back to the States or got back to their respective countries, they weren't getting better. In fact, it got really bad. It is some body horror shit. So I really would love to hear some body horror songs from them. And it would be kind of a nice of a makeup for Fly. It wasn't my favorite I don't hate that song, but it was definitely one of the weaker tracks of Welcome to Horrorwood. So maybe some legit body horror stuff, like something in the vein of what I think was really good at doing the form of body horror in metal was the song about Cabin in the Woods. Not Cabin in the Woods, excuse me, Cabin Fever. Sorry. So next up, we're gonna get a little fucked up here. Watership Down. Watership Down. Could you just think on that? Watership Down's already a fucked up book. Yeah, trust me, you'll never look at Easter bunnies the same way. But could you just imagine an Ice Nine Kills song about Watership Down and how brutal that song would be? Jesus fucking Christ. I thought about it, and we were almost done. My girlfriend and I were almost done compiling this list, and then I thought, oh my god, Watership Down. That's perfect, Watership Down. So Watership Down I was like, yeah, that's, if they can do a song about Animal Farm, they can do Watership Down. No questions asked. Alright, moving on to the final 4, and the next one, my girlfriend said this, and I was like, this is going on the list. That is, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Jesus Christ, could you imagine an Ice Nine Kills song of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream? If you've never read that book, you are not mentally ready for this. Because this is some brutal, horrendous, I'm pretty sure, this is some straight up body horror, and I'm saying that, and I don't even think I did it justice. So, I think it's perfect for Ice Nine Kills. It's a horrifying book, really. So yeah. So next up, this is kind of interesting because I bet none of you knew that this was started out as a book, and that is Metropolis. Metropolis, not the one with Superman in it, but you guys probably know Metropolis best as the actually now in public domain, starting this year, of a silent film that was a major inspiration for a lot of science fiction movies. You probably know best for that robot lady on the cover. And yeah, Ice Nine Kills has done books off of movies. Obviously, they did it for Carrie, they did it for Dracula, they did it for The Exorcist, and yeah, Metropolis is definitely. I could just imagine the music video for Metropolis. Oh my god, that would be awesome. As kind of like how Rob Zombie did Living Dead Girl in the vein of the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. This would be really cool to see them do a music video done as a homage to Metropolis. I think that would be a lot of fun. I really do. So next up in our penultimate track to this album, and that is Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis, you guys probably read, a lot of you probably read this in high school. Metamorphosis is basically this kid who finds out he's been turned into a cockroach, and yeah. Another great body horror song. I think this would be a lot of fun. It's a short story, yes, but like there is a lot of there's a lot of deep stuff about it. It's kind of sickening too. So Metamorphosis is also right up with Ice Nine Kills like horror aspect album. And finally is our final track for this made up album is The Pit and the Pendulum. The Pit and the Pendulum is obviously by Edgar Allan Poe. And we all know what The Pit and the Pendulum is. If you've known Edgar Allan Poe work, then yeah. And I wanted to have a Poe song on here because it is a short story. And I didn't want to have The Raven, though. Everyone and their mother's done The Raven. So I was thinking I was initially thinking The Telltale Heart, The Black Cat, the Mask of the Red Death, which I think would be also a great runner-up. But then I thought, like, The Pit and the Pendulum would be a lot of fun because it's, like, all about this, like, just kind of, like, knowing you're going to die, but you don't know how. It's this just kind of, like, creeping death kind of thing. So I really like that. So in the end, my girlfriend and I were like, yeah, let's go Pit and the Pendulum for this one. So there you go, guys. 13 tracks for this made-up album. And who knows, maybe it could be real. And maybe we'll get some of these. So to recap, we have Frankenstein, Lord of the Flies, 1984, Moby Dick, The Awakening, Sound of Thunder, Heart-Shaped Box, Lost City of the Monkey God, Watership Down, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, Metropolis, Metamorphosis, and The Pit and the Pendulum. So there you go, guys. There you go. And once again, I'd like to thank Jason and yeah, you guys tell me in the comments below, what books would you want to see Ice Nine Kills do songs of in this, if they did another Every Trick in the Book if they did a sequel to Every Trick in the Book, what books would you love to, not comics, let's be clear, no comics, no manga, like straight up novels, would you like to see them do, Ice Nine Kills do for this album? Just comment below, let me know. And once again, I'd like to thank Jason Voorhees 2011 for this video. And yeah, other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. Like I said, if you'd like to have a video request done, just hit the link below. Head on over to my Patreon where you guys can start sending me requests for videos to do here on YouTube. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.